Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the 5:30 a.m. call.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm on the call.
Good morning.
Good
This is
morning.
the call.
So I'm just waiting for you to join in.
Okay, the call. Okay, gotta call the number. If you don't,
Yeah, I sent you a reminder. If you check your text, the link is right there. I send you a link 10 minutes
find my
before.
phone.
Oh,
I heard the phone. I was like, the phone is here. My alarm went off about 5-6 times. Okay, I'm calling in. All right.
okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Good morning.
All right.
Okay, so I don't feel bad. Okay, 5:30. I gotta adjust my thoughts.
All right. Good.
Okay, you went out. Hello. Wait a minute. What happened? Okay, there you
Can you
go.
hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. I was going to ask you, are you on Eastern time or Central time?
I'm on Eastern.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I like to get started with a scripture of trying to call Tylene, and my daughter joined this call. So I'm not sure what happened to the other three ladies, but I send you a reminder just before, like with the direct link, so that way it'll be easy for you to just click it, uh, in addition to whatever alarms you've set so you can access the call. The password
Okay.
for the call, if you ever, should you ever forget or, something happens with your phone, it's 5:30 a.m. I mean, not a.m., but just 5:30.
530. Okay.
Set it for the time of the call, the passcode. Uh-oh, I realized I was talking and didn't have my earpieces in. Okay, so I can go ahead and at least explain to you how the call flows. Um, since you weren't able to be on with us the first call. So um, I go through like we always have a scripture that we start with, and then I shared last week, about like the whole purpose and how I got started on this journey and this path myself with my family history, um, with health, and my grandmother and so many women in my family passing away before the age of 60. So it really, that's what really lit a fire under me. And then I always share one health principle that I want you guys to, consider and possibly incorporate for the week. And then we talk about each of the five components of health. And then you set a health goal for the week. So for you, I'll need you to double up. Or I believe when I talked to you on Sunday, did I explain about setting one goal in each area?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that now. Okay, so the scripture that we will be coming from is actually in the book of Nehemiah. Don't tell me I just closed it. So here's what's so interesting about the story of Nehemiah. So I'm coming from chapter 5, verse 16, and then I'll skip over to chapter 6, verses 4 through 9, just to, I want to just hopefully hone in and make this principle really, really solid because it definitely applies as far as your health goes. Um, okay, so Nehemiah 5, verse 16, it says, I also held fast to the work on this wall, and we bought no land, and all my servants were gathered there for the work. All right, chapter 6, verse 4. They sent to me 4 times this way. I'm sorry, verse 3 I needed to start at. And I sent messengers to them saying, I am doing a great work and cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave to come down to you? They sent to me 4 times this way, and I answered them as before. Then Sanballat sent his servant to me again the 5th time with an open letter. In it was written, It is reported among the neighboring nations, and Gashmu says it that you and the Jews plan to rebel, therefore you are building the wall, that you may be their king, according to the report. Also, you have set up prophets to announce concerning you in Jerusalem, there is a king in Judah, and now this will be reported to the Persian king. So come now and let us take counsel together. I replied to him, No such things as you say have been done. You are inventing them out of your own heart and mind, for they all wanted to frighten us, thinking their hands will be so weak that the work will not be done. But now strengthen my hands. I wanted to emphasize on that story specific. Sorry, I wanted to emphasize on that story specifically because I think it speaks really well to um, fake news, for one, as we can see what's going on in biblical times. But not only that, the law of resistance and the opposition that you will face now that you have, verbally committed to yourself, as well as now to others, that you are going to start on, you know, taking your health, goals or this health journey a lot more seriously. So just like with Nehemiah, anytime you're trying to start and do something, and we know that it's God's will for us to have good health, you
Mm-hmm.
can expect the enemy is going to show up, and he ain't going to show up one time. He going it, and you will get all forms of distractions. He can use somebody in your family, someone you care about, someone you love, to get you to stop. You need to build a wall, a herd around. I mean, like a fence, like you know how you fencing in a herd. That's the way I need you to think about your health, is that you're fencing it in. You have to protect it, because this is a way that you're also going to protect your family as well as your community, because really and truly women are the ones that really set a good health pace. Like everybody tends to follow suit with whatever mom or wife says goes. Typically women have the biggest influence in their household as far as, you know, health decisions go. So when you start on a journey, it's a lot easier for everyone else to be influenced, and the enemy knows that. So he will fake news your way, you know, all manner of anything to get you off the path. A year, a year and about 4 months ago, when I started this journey, I tell you, all hell broke loose in my life. All hell broke loose in my family life, work life. Like it was just an all out assault. But one thing, a friend of mine like reminded me of that passage of when Nehemiah, and I mind you, prior to that, he had no problem. But as soon as he got on that path to start doing what the Lord told him to do, that I mean, it came out the woodworks. So I say that to share with you, when it comes down to your health, because the enemy knows if you really tap into the health that God has for you, you're dangerous. You're dangerous to whatever area that God has called you to serve in. You're dangerous in that area, because if you get your health, you know, in order, and you get your family's health in order, now that's even more people that are living on purpose in their health and doing his kingdom damage. And he doesn't want that. So I want to make sure that we're, you know, coming into this with our eyes open to and conscious of the fact that, you know, you will get opposition at some point in time. The enemy will try to stop you, because this is the very opposite of what he wants for you. This is why we are plagued with so many things in this country specifically. I mean, he's wreaking havoc in our health. And so I just wanted to share that scripture, just, you know, so you could be reminded that let nothing take you off your wall that you're building. You let nothing distract you, because this will impact your family. This is for you, but it's definitely going to impact them. So that was the scripture I wanted to share. I really love those, that verse 5, I mean, chapter 5 and 6 in Nehemiah is just so encouraging to see, because you're going to take hold of this abundant health. You will truly impact your family. So I sent you a packet. I'm not sure if you received it yesterday, or if you didn't see it yesterday. Huh?
Not yet. I don't think so, because, well, it's coming
Then it'll be here.
United States
Uh,
Postal Service, right?
yes. Did
Mhm.
I send you the tracking number?
No, no, I didn't see the tracking number.
Okay. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you just in case, but it's because I think you can see it in real time. But it's guaranteed today. That, you know, that much I know. Not they're gonna give me some out of my money back. But it's usually first class. They usually arrives there by the date that they set. Um so you're gonna have a pocket size calendar. I'm not sure how, if you could see this well or not. Um,
Oh,
but you're gonna
okay.
have a pocket size calendar. So in it, you're gonna see the first day that you made the decision. I already gave you a gold star for that. So just to keep it super simple for us, we're tracking our progress with stars. So if you did set out, if you did your exercises that you set out to do for that day, and maybe had one nutrition thing that you wanted to incorporate, you can give yourself a gold star. Um, if you halfway did it, then you can assign it one of the other color stars. Now, except the purple. If you got someone else, like, you know, to join in, maybe to walk or exercise or do whatever health wise, if you were able to include someone else as far as getting them to do something for their health, then give yourself a purple star for that day. If it's a day that you happen to not be able to, you know, you didn't do anything physically as far as movement goes for your health, you just give yourself a heart. You'll have in there some hearts as well, or you can use one of the other stickers that kind of has, they have different like sayings on there. And then I want you to assign something for the week, like where the note sections is. Sometimes there's blank spots, or there's like space on the side of that week. but I want at the end of the week to title your week with one of the stickers, like describe your week with that, with a sticker. Or if you don't feel like using one of the other bigger stickers, you can just use a star or a heart, to just whatever it is that you're feeling about that week. But I want that week to be given an assignment.
Okay.
So which is really cool. I mean, I don't know why. I have my suspicions as to why, but um, they've done a lot of research, like they've done it even with like animals and stuff about that reward system. I think maybe because in elementary school, how we used to get stars and stuff like that. I think that's part of our programming now as adults. But they found that when people are like, they give themselves some form of like an award, like where they can see, like you getting a star for the day. That's why it's so effective in in elementary school. When you're doing something, you got a gold star or whatever the color stars or system your teacher had. But they found in your health, when you do that, you're more likely to than not to stick to your goals, or you'll spend more days doing them because of that reward system, even though it's something as simple and what we may consider as silly as a sticker, but it works. And I think about even myself, it made me feel good when I looked. I was like, whoa. So even though I may have missed a day, you know, in the past, when you see so many stars, you're like, well, okay, I did something. So you're getting to see that you're doing more than maybe you're conscious of, and this kind of brings that back to your memory and allows you to celebrate, and it boosts your confidence. Don't know why that finding came out that way, but it
Mhm.
works. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we were tracking our process over this quarter and with the stickers, so that way you can get that immediate reward and that sense of confidence. Next, you'll see you got some love offerings. So I left them apart, and you have glue included in your packet as well, because you can get as snazzy as you want with it. But you paste it inside on the red. Some people hang it, do all kind of creative stuff, and I'll send you a video clip on a further breakdown on it. But you can decorate it however you want. But the love offering, first and foremost, is for you. It's one intention that you're going to love better about your body, or maybe something better about your personality. But it has to be something specifically to you that you're going to offer to yourself in love. And in other words, like something that you're going to love better about you. So maybe it's something, maybe you've been giving yourself a hard time about your skin, or maybe it could be your teeth or your hair or your nails or your toes, whatever. It could be your knees or your legs, whatever. Or it could be maybe a personality trait, like maybe you're too nice, or maybe you're too open, or whatever you feel like, um, something about your personality or internal body, or it could be an organ, something that you want to just love on a little bit more. I want you to pick one a week, and you're going to make a love offering. Because oftentimes we think of love offerings as just, a monetary gift that we give to someone else. But this, you're going to actually give to yourself. This is a love offering that you're going to make to yourself. So you just simply write it, write down whatever it is. You have a scented pen that's coming in the pack. I love like, like nice little stuff like that. So I want you to just record it down and put whatever kind of stickers or decor. You can bling it out, whatever you want. You have multiple of these. So if you want to just, whatever on the border and change this out daily, you can. Um, but I also included extras so that you can give one to someone else. So I want you to give a love offering, hopefully to one of your kids, or all of your kids, or maybe your grandkids, or your husband, someone that you love, or it could be a friend or a family member, but something that you love about them. So it's like you're giving them affirmative love offering, something that you've noticed about them, and you'd be amazed at how this has really helped families. But not only that, it really makes that person's day, and it's something that they could put in their purse or their pocket and just take with them, and open it up and see it at any random moment or time, since we're not always able to be with them 24/7. So am I clear on the love offerings?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. I'm super. I love those. I was surprised at how much all ages really took to that activity. So and you can even cut them in half if you want to extend them
Hmm.
even further past the quarter. So I gave you enough in there to last a week. I mean the whole quarter. Okay.
Are you there? Shawnte?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. There you go.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have 5 components of health. And I want you to, the month of January or February, one of the earlier months, where in the notes section, you can just record the 5 components that I'm, mentioning here. So the 5 components we're going to cover over this quarter is spiritual health, psychological health, physical health, social health, environmental health. Um, so I'm going to start with the environmental health. That is something that will for sure affect your family. So when I say environmental health, when you set a goal that maybe you want to, reduce your electric output by turning off lights every time you exit a room, or it could be when you're not going to let water just run. You're going to turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth instead of letting it run. I'm really notorious about that for doing that. So that's actually going to be my health goal that I'm going to be accountable for next week as far as my environmental goals. So it could be maybe you're going to change out when this coronavirus stuff is over. Maybe you're going to change the type of paper towels that you use, or maybe you're going to put like a water filter on one of your sinks or a water jug, whatever meaningful environmental health goal that you can think of or come up with. I want you to set at least one environmental goal, or it could be maybe you want to do clean up in your community or in your yard or whatever. Um, but something, or maybe you want to start recycling, any type of environmental within your home or within your family or with the products that you use. Maybe you want to switch one thing, but keep it down to something simple and something that you can attain before the quarter is over.
Okay.
Ideally, I'd like you to set 2 environmental goals for the quarter. The first one I do want you to set by next call. So if you can just come up with one small attainable one, and you have time to set the second one maybe next month. If you're really over the top busy, you can weave that in some other time. Okay, so is that component clear?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to social health. This one is super, super important. Studies have found that it not only does social health help extend your lifespan, but the quality of your health. And it specifically affects blood pressure. So what they found that when people neglect this area, so we have a stress hormone called cortisol. So when you are, that's also the kind of blessing and curse with the social distancing, because we are chemical beings and we're creatures also that we have biology, and we are designed to interact and to have social interactions. It literally, physically, biologically affects us. Um, so what they found is when you socialize, and meaning positive socializing, it boosts hormones like endorphins, serotonin, uh, uh, what is it called? The other one is escaping my tongue. Serotonin, endorphins, uh, melatonins in the evening time. You're more apt to actually releasing it at night when you do have those positive social um, social health engagement or interactions. When you're devoid of that, your body increases cortisol, another hormone, because it's one way or the other. I don't know if you remember when I talked to you guys about like um, pre-pee, and when you don't get enough water, what your body it's going to convert, it'll reduce to something else because it just is designed to, something has to circulate. So if you won't give it the water, it'll find a way to circulate the pee. So no different with this. So when you're neglected socially, your body increases cortisol because there needs to be some type of hormonal release. There has to be some type of exchange or interaction. So problem with your body going to cortisol is that it's like dialing 911 all day in your system. That's not what we all is important, but we don't, just like having, fire rescue is important, but we don't need them all the time. So that's the danger in people not being not only not aware of their social health, but neglecting it. So no matter how busy we get, I want to make sure you definitely set a social health goal, and hopefully something that will include, your children, um, or maybe your parents, because those two have been found to have like a huge like impact immediately as far as those hormones that we need to have secreted. Um, so maybe it could be as simple as you're going to have a 5 minute, just, like non-stressful type of talk or fun activity that you can do, or just laugh, or something you can watch. Maybe that's fun for the two of you, but a positive social interaction. So I want you to set one, social health goal that you can accomplish with one of your loved ones for next week, or maybe it could be just having a conversation with a friend. But I want you to, set something that's going to be meaningful that you could do and accomplish. But you're going to set one, and you'll share it next week what your social health goal was. Ultimately, I want you to set two for the entire quarter, but your first one, I want you to make sure you have it set by next week. So, am I being clear as far as the social health category?
Well, the social health. Okay, so is it what? Okay, I'm confused on that one only because we have to have a social health. I'm quarantined. I'm not.
Right. No, you don't have to touch them, but it's the actual act of. That's why they're saying, if you notice, the medical community is saying social distancing, because they know how reckless it would be if we cut off the social interaction. So it could be, maybe you guys are gonna video chat and listen to something funny, or maybe if you're in a household, even if you're not directly right next to each other, maybe you're gonna watch something on TV together, or maybe you're taking a walk where no one is out, distance, but you're doing something together. Or it could be a phone conversation, whatever, simple. Or maybe it could be a simple meal together, or sharing your favorite snack. Not that you have to physically touch, but you have to have a positive social interaction.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, something recreational that it has to be fun, and something where you're not going to talk about anything that's like, maybe a problem or anything like that. It has to be purely something that's going to be fun for the two of you, something that you guys will both enjoy.
Okay, I got you. Now I understand that one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Got that one.
Yay. Okay. Hey, I'm super excited. uh, okay. And our next component is your physical health. And I think when I did your interview, I think you already know what two areas you kind of want to like, and you already have that covered. So that's anything related to like exercise, or like your blood pressure or nutrition. Those kinds of things go under your physical health component.
Okay.
And so you already revealed that you're kind of clear on what you want to have is the accountability with on the physical part. So are we good on that category?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Next, the psychological health. So I use psychological health, even though I technically in our books, like, it's called mental health. But the two are used synonymously. But a lot of times when you say mental health, it conjures up like a negative or taboo kind of association with it. So just not go down that, the negative path of that component. I just chose to say psychological health, but it's going to be anything that you do specifically to de-stress yourself, to affirm yourself. So it could be that you're going to incorporate meditations, and I know that you're already, doing things like that. It could be something like reading a book or sipping a favorite drink of yours. But this specifically is whatever it takes to do something that's actually going to reduce your cortisol levels in addition to your social health. But this one is specifically just solely about you, not someone else. Or it could be maybe getting your nails done, or maybe using a facial mask, something like that. Maybe that's something that's very calming and it de-stresses you. Or it could be writing in a gratitude journal, or it could be having your favorite fruit de-stresses you, or taking a bubble bath, or lighting candles, or listening to certain music may be relaxing to you. Whatever it is that will actually decrease cortisol, which is the stress hormone, something that's going to promote um, that psychological well-being, that will not, because here's the problem: when we don't address the psychological part, we can end up in adrenal fatigue, meaning because cortisol is just running rampant in our bodies. And this is why a lot of people are suffering from autoimmune diseases, ulcers. I mean, it's linked to so many things, and they're not aware of not only that. It affects your blood pressure. You could actually decrease your blood pressure reading, like by controlling and managing your cortisol levels. And a lot of people are unaware of that. Uh, if your cortisol levels are too high on a given day, it could actually cause a heart attack. That's how serious that stress hormone is. It's needed. Don't get me wrong, but it's not needed to the degree that we activate it. So we're starting with the psychological component for that reason as well, because a lot of times us achieving our health goal, if we can at least get just mentally make the shift there, the winning starts in your mind. And so if we can get your mind on board, I have some weight loss meditations I'm going to share with you all over the course of these weeks. I'm going to share another one in the group chat today, actually, because each week I try to drop at least a new meditation inside of the chat that I created specifically for this Health Mastermind group. But it starts there, and then the rest will actually fall in line. So it's like if you already start believing, in your packet, I included in the card the health affirmation I want you to recite each day, at whatever point during the day, even if it's at night or noonday, whatever time, or maybe during your vulnerability period. That's when I tend to try to do mine, is in the morning, and then around like 4 or 5 o'clock when I'm more tempted to get off track. Um, but it really, really does work. So, so that's the psychological component, and that's the one that we're gonna, focus on this week and next week. And then last but certainly not least is our spiritual health component. A lot of people don't know when the life management course was taught in schools, like spiritual health was a part of it. And it's still in the textbooks now today. So it is considered a health component, because the more science is starting to research, we understand that there is a mind, body, soul, that you do have a spirit, man, and there is a connection, and it does actually affect your health. So I want you to set a spiritual goal, um, for yourself. It could be maybe you're going to pray for your health, a couple of times a week or a certain day of the week. Or maybe you're going to pray for someone else's health as well. Or maybe you want to, read a spiritual health book, or maybe you want to do certain, meditations can fall under that. Maybe you want to read more scriptures on health, whatever meaningful spiritual goal, even if it's not necessarily just only health. It could be any kind of thing spiritual wise that you want to set, that's manageable and achievable within the 3-month time period. So it's something that'll be just for this quarter, as far as those goals for the different components go.
Okay.
So is that part clear on the spiritual goals?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 5 areas. You're going to set one goal. That's your homework assignment for next week, to set one goal minimum in each area. I know you already got the physical one out of the way, so you only have 4 more to go. And you'll share it next week on the call. So, all right, so now that takes us to, do you have any questions on those components before I go
No,
into the?
no, but repeat the spiritual. So my spiritual goal is what?
Anything
It,
spiritually related, like it could be reading the Bible or whatever kind of
oh,
spiritual content you consume. It could be maybe you're going to listen to a spiritual, um, video, or maybe you're going to read or meditate more, whatever. Anything that's to improve or to grow your spiritual, on your spiritual journey, or maybe it's you're going to pray more, or maybe you're going to pray for someone. But I really would like you to somehow include in your spiritual, like you praying for your health as well. Even if it's just you're picking a day to specifically pray about some health things, um, for you and maybe for your family and for someone else that you love or know of. Um, but those kinds of things go into that spiritual category. Scriptures, meditation, praying, consuming spiritual content or reading spiritual books.
okay, got you.
Okay,
Got it.
perfect. All right. Okay, and then now, um, as I've shared before with you guys on our mastermind call, I think it's super important to set and keep and try to definitely give yourself a sticker when you do drink water in the morning. Even I continue to research and see what the latest findings are. So even if it's as small as 24 ounces, it makes a difference, which is very, very easy to do. So it's enough to get started on a water-induced thermo neurogenesis. So that's like, well, let's see if this one is 12. I think this one is a 12 ounce. No, this is 16 ounce. So even a bottle smaller than this one, just at least drinking one of them in the
Kombucha.
morning. Yeah, I try to do these at least once every 2 weeks. Um,
No, what's
if
the
I can't
benefit
afford it
though?
every week.
I used to do kombucha all the time.
Okay, so specifically with when it comes down to blood pressure and heart health, and because I have such a strong family history of high cholesterol, hypertension, that kind of thing. So the type of probiotics and the fermenting that happens in this, not to mention
Uh-huh.
it boosts your immune system too. um, Especially the multi-grain. That's why they never really put this one on sale like the other ones, where you go buy one get one free, or make it in the bigger jar, because this is one of the top sellers. So it helps to increase the right gut bacteria that you have in
Hmm.
your GI tract. But not only that, what it does with your arteries need, when you are someone that has a genetic predisposition for hypertension, heart disease, that kind of thing, you need what these the probiotics, not the prebiotics in this one, the probiotics offer. So it's like, it basically, you're giving yourself the best guns possible. So even if you had, like, how you have like the pickled or fermented cabbage, or the fermented ginger, which I try to rotate that stuff through my diet for the month. This is irregardless of your weight or anything like that. But this, just, I try to do a shot of this. So when I buy one of these, I
Hmm.
do, I spread it over to 5 days, so that I know that I'm arming myself with the right probiotics. But not only that, it helps maintain, and lower your blood pressure. But you're going to get the biggest benefits with your heart, as well as also weight maintenance. But the probiotics are essential for someone who has like a family history of heart disease and you have certain genetic markers. And if you have
Okay.
high blood pressure, this is something like for someone like you would definitely benefit from this, even if it's just once a month or anything fermented, because they ferment this. Since I can't
It's
always buy
fermented
fermented
cabbage.
cabbage.
Isn't
Huh?
that it's fermented cabbage? What's that called?
I mean, was it sauerkraut or something like that? I'm
Is
not
that
sure. I'm not I tried the cabbage. When I can get the fermented ginger I can do it. But this is the easiest fermented product I've been able to find for myself,
okay?
that I know that I could stick to. And I was like, okay, it's $3. I can commit to that once a month,
Yeah.
if not twice a month, taking in shots. And you'll notice, like, if you're able to get that regularly, Kohl's and stuff like that. Like when I was able to buy it every single week before all of this stuff happened, I'm telling you, I wouldn't get no Kohl's, none of that kind of stuff, because it really does fortify your immune system. Um, so the water, that's I really want you, if you can, if you can stick to it, at least make sure that you're getting 24 ounces in the morning, as soon as you wake up. But the principle I wanted to make sure that I talked to you about today was olive oil, uh, cinnamon, and spinach. So with cinnamon, not only is it good for diabetes, so if you know of anyone who's struggling with diabetes, a lot of people don't realize just a tablespoon of that, just 1 tablespoon per day, can bring their diabetes under
Under
control.
control.
But not only that, a lot of people don't realize how it affects blood pressure as well. So even if you didn't do it every day, just even 3 times a week would be, beneficial. And most people have cinnamon, ground cinnamon in their house, you
Yep.
know. So it's something very easy to do. If you can't just take a spoonful, even if you just put it on a piece of bread, if bread is your thing, whatever you can add it to, or tea or coffee, or if you could just add it, maybe then to milk. Hopefully you're not doing a lot of dairy, but whatever you can to get a tablespoon in, it would be ideal for your health. And not only that, this is why I love cinnamon, because you get like it's like a Popeye's chicken special. You get
Really?
multiple benefits. It's really good for your heart. It really helps your heart clean out plaque. And then next, olive oil. Olive oil is, I cannot begin to tell you what it does. It doesn't do well to heat it, so don't heat it. But even a tablespoon of the olive oil is going to help your body clean your heart really well. But not only that, your arteries. Um, and again, it's something that has been proven to, as far as like your artery walls and your body's ability to, so when your blood pressure, your body needs to be able to dilate and needs to be able to constrict. It actually helps with that
That
process, which
process.
is why it helps your body not have to struggle, and increase your pressure to pump and to do the things that it needs to do. So that's why olive oil is so, like, I mean, when I tell you, if you look at people like in Morocco, the Mediterranean diet, meaning like the way that they eat, they typically don't have any kind of heart disease issues and things like that, because olive oil is such a big component of it. They tend to not have high blood pressure struggles, hypertension, any of that kind of thing, because of that constant, like, daily, if not 3 to 4 times a week minimum. Most, Mediterranean people have olive oil, and it really truly will help bring your blood pressure under control. So you can get immediate benefits. Not only that, a lot of people don't realize, even if you gargle a little bit with it, it helps to eliminate the harmful bacteria that can get into our mouths when we're just constantly touching. And with everything that's going on now today, it's something like I'm actually going to get back to starting to do. I used to take a tablespoon of olive oil. You'll notice that you just feel better. So I usually do it with a little bit of flax seeds, just to make it a little more, have something substantial to swallow it with.
Hmm.
Um, but it's been proven um, to work. And I got this from not only Dr. Oz, but all of the research and when you see that, if I ever send you guys a study, it's usually from the NIH or NCBI. They're the most credible source, because they're like nonpartisan. They're just, you know, they're not bought out by certain companies to have things say. They actually look at all studies, and so they actually interpret the things and show you the comparison between the two. So that's where I usually go to get most of my research into if I'm ever wondering about a certain study and if it was actually credible, that kind of thing. So that's where I actually got that from. And then the last ingredient, spinach. Now, if you're someone that has irritable bowel syndrome, you may not respond well to spinach. Um, but like the benefit for, like, put it like this: a doctor I know, actually in 30 days he got his dad's blood pressure under control just with the ingredients that I'm mentioning with you. Sweet potatoes also was
Mm-hmm.
another thing that he incorporated, because the sweet potatoes actually, so when your body needs to excrete, you have certain bacteria that needs to, and it actually helps in really, really well with weight loss too. um, your body, there's a certain bacteria that's there at the towards the end point. So when you're doing the probiotics, prebiotics, you're setting it up, and it's like, okay, now I need the food. The sweet potatoes and spinach is the food that is waiting for it. There are certain particular proteins and compounds within those two. Spinach, I don't do well with cauliflower because of the lectins that's in it. But sweet potatoes, I don't have a reaction to. So if you don't have a reaction to sweet potatoes, it feeds the right bacteria. And here's the benefit of that. That bacteria in turn, like, you put your snipers in order to
Mm-hmm.
kill off some of the obesity bacteria. So when we have excess weight on us, that means the obesity bacteria in your stomach
Mm-hmm.
have an environment to grow, and we need somebody to take them out. In addition to this, is in addition to you exercising and all that other stuff, you have gut bacteria that can kill off some of those obesity bacteria. And sweet potatoes, and if you can, spinach, if it's something that doesn't irritate your body, cause you to bloat. Most people don't have a sensitivity to it. It's a very small population of people
Mm-hmm.
who can't have spinach. But if you can tolerate spinach, just even 3 times a week, you will see. So basically, you're putting your body in optimal fat burning state, and you can
Really?
achieve your goals. Yeah, you can achieve them without having. A lot of people think you have to do all this extra work, and you really don't. Like, there's certain just small shifts that you can make that can help you achieve those goals and actually stick to them. Spinach is something that you can stick to, and it's not putting yourself on a strict diet. It's just adding something else to it. But sweet potatoes and spinach, it will feed the right bacteria that's in the area where you have to poop, and they in turn will go to work and start killing off some of those obesity bacteria that don't need to be there. And the only reason they're there is because they have the environment. They basically took over. They tried to overthrow your good government, and so you need to
Really?
arm your soldiers. Yeah,
So it
like people.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I meant to get some sweet potatoes the other day. I actually circled back. It's like, oh, I have to get some sweet potatoes, and still didn't get around to it. And I was like, gosh, I didn't get them. Just when you were saying it, I was like, no, that's what I was supposed to get the other day. But yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm telling you, it
Spinach
works.
too. I was standing there in front of the spinach, but what I did do was get some glory spinach, and I was like,
Okay.
I was like, that's the only way I was going to get it in, because I used to
Okay.
eat raw spinach all the time
Okay.
in my salad, especially. But I
Gotcha.
used to do the
Yeah.
baby arugula. Oh man,
Yeah. Oh
I
my
was
God,
so in
arugula
love
is
with that.
really great. Ah, that's
Yeah,
on my next week's tip. So I broke down different, like, little things that you can add, but arugula and asparagus is on my next week's list that I was
asparagus.
going to talk to you
Yeah,
guys about. Yeah, and breaking down just like how I just broke down what happens with sweet potatoes, cauliflower, and spinach. Uh, Spinach and sweet potatoes are the richest source. And then you don't really have to worry about lectins. So some plants have lectins, so that's why certain vegetables are not ideal for someone like me. So that's why I always tell people, test them out and see how your body responds. But if you've had spinach before and you don't have like an allergic reaction to it, it should be fine. Frozen spinach tends to be safer and has
oh,
less likely to have the toxins and the pesticides. That's what the latest studies have shown over this past decade that they've been reviewing. So the frozen spinach is actually a lot safer than even some of the fresh spinach unless you're going to buy it organic.
Okay.
So maybe something to consider.
Well, I'm going to,
Okay.
well, spinach. Well, I'm not going out because since I've been exposed to the virus. So.
Right.
But I do.
Well, maybe whenever.
My daughter,
Yeah.
I called her, and so I sent her some money for her to put some things on the porch this morning. So I was like, I refuse to get anyone sick, and I'm just so upset with my son because he told me last night, he was like, "Did you check on Grandpa?" I was like, "Why was you at Grandpa's house? I haven't even been to my father's house. Why are you all were traveling around like it was like you all didn't really get
Nothing.
it. That's it. Stay home." And I had to go to work. And then he gets upset. I'm like, how the hell you gonna get upset? Because everybody else has to do what they're supposed to do. It's you young people who just have your own thought, your own way. And I don't believe. And I was like, if it's a conspiracy or not, treat it as if it's so. And it doesn't even matter.
It's definitely not a conspiracy. I have a good friend of mine who's his cousin and his girlfriend. They're in ICU right now. So if you have certain illness, it's real. And we don't have a drug to treat it. That's the thing. Like that's what people don't. And I think millennials they don't really get the seriousness of it because they're less likely to actually have serious consequences for it versus some people who have certain illnesses or once you pass a certain age bracket, it's very real. So
But
it's like you don't.
This part, he didn't want to infect. He's been over his dad's house. He's been over my dad's house. He's been at home.
Wow.
With his girlfriend and the twins. But you come here. You leave the house as if you have nowhere to go. And your father didn't say, come on over here. Let me clear this room out for you. Let me clear this space out for you. He didn't do that. He didn't even volunteer it. Do you know he actually wanted to go back and forth with me and try to tell me, it's just in his head? His father tried to tell me it was just in his head and it's just stress. I was like, you know what? I'm not the smartest person. And I said, but I have common sense. For one, I'm a mother. And then I said, I have a little common sense. And then on top of the common sense, I have a little intellect. I was like considering with the majority, a huge population of this country, of this world is going through. And your son has been out and about. He's even been to work, which he works at the airport. He's been out and about.
Oh, Lord.
So, and was out visiting and then had the twins. And then I'm like, just where do you think that is stress when he has a fever? And although he's able to get the fever under 100.
Classic.
Now he still has the symptoms. So I was like, had it not been, and I'm like, but his father then had an attitude with me. How dare you have an attitude with me? And I was like, well, why are you pointing fingers? I didn't hear you running or trying to say no. I was like, you allowed me to come here. Now my husband had to actually call in from work. We're all quarantined because he can't leave the house knowing that he has a sick person in his home.
Exposed. Yeah.
So I'm like, how is it that we're conscious thinking people, but you all are so inconsiderate and he's already my son started with the pink eye.
Oh, Lord.
So it started last week, and then come to find I'm reading on the 10 signs, and I was like, pink eye was one of them.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like,
front door.
So please. And I'm so angry with them. And that's where my hostility is right now. And that's where my mind is. I want to clear that out. And I'm like, I really literally have a live incubating person with the virus in my home.
Wow.
That's stressful.
And so is he like covering himself so because like at least the T zone is where the infection enters. And I hear they have these clear masks now that you can have that puts that barrier up
Yep.
from that area. I said, listen, I'm highly recommending. I said I'm going to share as soon as I can find out who actually sells those. I saw a lady at Publix that I know that has them, because that at least that can block off that infection zone, for you. But yeah, like wiping it. If you don't have hand sanitizer, alcohol, witch hazel, and peroxide will work just fine to keep all of your surfaces like clean. And my friend said, I think it's called Desolin. It's like this. I know it's like one of those things that they also use for children. But he said that they've been finding that it's helping people to recover from the systems, and those who've been recovering from the virus. They've been doing like a rotation of that particular medicine has been at
What
least
is it
a
called?
positive effect. Desolin. Let me look up the right spelling of it, because he's been, in the trenches in the ER with this
And
stuff
and and
in
look,
Palm Beach.
our medical night shift over at one of our hospitals walked out night before last.
They walked out. Oh wow.
Walked out.
I'm blaming.
They're on the front line, but I'm like, this is what
Yeah,
you all. But you know what? And then they have people coming in from all over. I don't. I'm so.
because
My anger.
they're forcing them to work additional. It's not even that they're just on their shift. Like what he's saying is like they're and some of them have been approaching the boards, because they're not only just doing their shift, they're doing, even beyond that. And they're just like, hey, we got families, we have lives. Like during your residency, you're doing 30 something hours or living at the hospital. But as you get over time, so yeah, I heard that there were threats of walkouts, not just in other places, but I hadn't known that any place actually had um did it though.
They walked out, and I'm like,
Wow.
and I'm like, we're overworking them, and I was like,
Yeah,
if it was
it's
anything,
sad.
I don't, and I think I'm a little. This is the only thing that's angering me, and sometimes I think the least I know, the better I am.
Mhm.
And but to have my other son was so upset with my with this son. Well, I have two sons. Malcolm was so upset with Xavier. He
Mhm.
was like, "Why? No, mom, I can't afford for you to get sick. No,
Right.
of all the people, why? No, you should have turned him away too." And I was like, "I cannot turn him away. Where's he gonna
Yeah.
go?"
It's your son.
And I'm like, so it's like I would have done the same thing for you, but to know that your father is that and still the same person, and you gonna sit up there with denial after denial after denial after denial, and then try to deflect, idiot. And but that's his manipulative behavior. That's how he's always been.
Wow.
And I would love to believe that it's
Oh,
just naive. He's naive, but
yeah.
no,
No.
he would sit up there and literally, I had to literally break it down. I said, you know what? I said, I get what you're saying. I said, in normal circumstances, I probably would roll with you on some of the stuff that you're saying, but I can't roll with you today. And I was like, and this was the conversation I had with him yesterday. He got real quiet and then got upset and then was like, okay, all right then, okay, bye. And I was like, okay.
What?
Oh,
Wow.
girl, he is. Oh, I'm like, I was like, well, whether you like it or not, you've been exposed to it because he had it last week, which
Wow.
means that it's at your house.
Mm.
And whatever he touched, and he had the girls, he was on your bed, you laid down with it. I was like, so that being said, I was like, so now you figure it out. But it's okay that
Wow.
so what I thought the most common sense thing was for him to come over there, go over to him where it's only one person. And I mapped
Right.
out a diagram of how his movement, how it's impacted so many people. And I was telling my son, I was like, you're supposed to sit your behind down. You really do. I work at well, you knew that. I was like, Mike works at a hospital. Mike
Wow.
comes in. Mike makes a conscious decision. Mike comes in the house. He comes straight
Wow.
up, takes off his clothes, puts them in the washer, goes in and takes a shower.
Wow.
Then he goes back down through his steps and disinfects, and everybody stays where they are.
Wow.
So
And
yeah.
maybe if you can explain to him, listen, the NFL, the NBA, sports is like a god in this country. Like these people worship the kind of money that they're bringing in. Like they will kill people not to let certain things like get out. If the NBA cancels something, that's when you know it's serious. The NCAA, I don't think people realize we're talking about multi-billion
$1 billion.
dollar
Industry.
industries. This is not no conspiracy. The NBA ain't stopping jack. That's when they canceled everything, that's when I knew, okay, this is for real. We don't even know the tip of the iceberg with this thing. The NBA don't cancel for jack. They ain't cancel for SARS, Ebola, none of that stuff.
Oh,
Think about that. Think about that. So you could probably mention that to him, like, listen, this is for real, for real. Like this ain't some hoax kind of thing. This virus
Malcolm
is real.
Malcolm, isn't it so funny, because the one who needs me the least when they were born is, and I can just tell in their personality, Xavier didn't, he slept all night after a month. Malcolm,
Oh wow.
who he slept all night after a week and a half. Never, he was the most independent, and he's still that way.
Aww.
He doesn't, I won't hear from Malcolm for months, because
Yeah.
he doesn't need me. He doesn't need,
Gotcha.
hey mom, I love you. Hey, that's it. And I don't require him, because I love that independence. The other character, who was the firstborn, is the most dependent, this is the one who's now sick in my basement.
Wow.
He's the most dependent. He seems almost, now you talk about mental health. That's the one I told you about, the mental health. I really think something is wrong with him. And it's like,
Gotcha.
he gets so upset, and I'm like, what you upset about? What? How is it that I said, when I do something wrong, I stand in my shit, Xavier.
Right.
Because I know it's
I own
mine.
Right.
It's mine. So that helps me. And that's why when you're talking about the psychological, I started back therapy on Sunday. I need that. I have to have something.
Yes. Yes.
And it felt so
seriously.
good to purge.
Mm-hmm.
And after I finished purging, my sinuses started draining. Because I'm holding these toxins in, because
you gotta leave it.
I'm carrying everybody else's crap. And I was like, I shouldn't be carrying your crap. And for her, your girlfriend, to leave, and that's why I was like, you need to come here. She kept leaving him with the babies.
Wow.
Literally leaving. And I had to call and talk to her yesterday. I said, just let me know what's going on with the girls. I don't care about anything else. And they had diarrhea or what. I was like, okay, what? I didn't call for all of that. I just called because you need to know that Xavier's sick, and he's been with the girls. He's been around you, and I need for you to watch the girls. So
their immune system is not fully developed yet. So it's like, come on.
And they seem to be doing great. I'm gonna check on them again today, because I don't trust her. And if I had her Facebook page or something, I will blast her out. If you see her coming, do not allow her around you, because she has been exposed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they've actually now computed the numbers, so one person can end up in the worst ways, impacting 1 million people, just because of the amount of people that they've come in contact with, and the amount of people those people are come in contact with. Like 1 million people. So it's like, you're going to be responsible for 1 million people getting this virus, and especially if you've been going around like nothing for a whole week, like, some of those people are actually going to die from it. Like, come on. We don't have like a true medicine for it yet.
They're gonna tell me go check on them. I went by Grandpa's house. You went by who? And I was like, why? Why were you traveling around? I haven't been to my dad's house. I went to the grocery store and had my nephew come and meet us, and had him come pick up his food and take it to him. I said, I dropped off my uncle's because he didn't have anybody. And I was like, we went out, but I was like, I've been in the house. I was like, I'm not there's nothing out there that draws me. I was like, Xavier, I'm 51 years old. I've done that, been there. I've not ever been that person even watching me. You guys, I was trying to tell you, sometimes sit down. Wherever you're being drawn to, you need to be drawn within. If you're not listening, greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world. And what you're trying to be is in the world. Where your voice is and who you don't say go out here and come see me. Yeah, you go to church and that's the draw, but that's a whole nother conversation. But your church begins in the house. And that's why I was so happy that you said this, because you sent that video to me. And the next video that came on was about the mind and the body. And it made so much sense. My body is my temple.
It really is.
And my body has been ruling my mind for so long. It tells me when it craves something, but I give it what I think I want, what feels good, opposed to what it really needs.
I'm telling you. I used to have back in the day, I had a professor that said literally, if it tastes good, spit it out. That's a rule of thumb. And when I was a health nut and I was in a lot better shape than even now when I was practicing, that was it. It's like I would give myself on the weekends, if I went to social occasions, and I would do, little things. But for the most part, I was pretty, strict about what I was consuming because I knew my family history. And I'm like, I'm not trying to die before 60.
What is it when my body heats up every morning? What is that?
I mean, I know I'm starting to go through the change and having flashes.
My body literally heats up. It heats up every morning.
The only thing that I know of that where people start getting, like, as far as there's a thermal change, meaning when there's a heat to a certain area and stuff, is autoimmune disease. When you're having, there's something either in your environment or something you're putting into your internal environment that could be causing an allergic. It's basically like an allergic reaction. That's the scientific way of saying it.
I do have an autoimmune disease. I have bullous pemphigoid, and that's why I don't have an immune system, because they gave me Rituxan. And I had my last dose of Rituxan back in September of last year, and my very first was a year prior to. I had to have 2 rounds of it, and last year they only deemed it that I needed 1. And my bullous pemphigoid is a skin autoimmune disease, was where my skin developed antibodies and started attacking itself. So my skin blisters up. It would blister up into these patches, and then the patches would keep blistering, and it would leak, and they would grow together. And then if I bust them, it would still find ways around it to grow more. It was. I didn't have. I had a case, but there were cases that were far more severe than mine. But mine, at the same time, it looked like I had cancer. That's why they kept testing me for cancer. And so this Rituxan is like a chemotherapy medicine. And so it suppressed the immune system. It actually took all my B cells. Yeah. Cleared me. So now that's why the other thing is that my immune system, which I just in the last 2 years, I can't breathe. Which used to happen when I was younger because I have asthma in the spring, but my body had developed an immune system over time. Now it's back to where it was. Now the slightest stuff in the air, even in the last month, my chest. So.
Wow. I'm going to send you, I know that there's a master class on this, and this, when I tell you this guy is spot on, Sean Stevenson's, it's on the Model Health Show. It's the top health podcast. I mean, I'm talking about, he's well respected amongst doctors and others. I'm going to send you that, even if you can listen to it in small chunks over the course of the week. But I think you may be able to find some tools, some natural things that you can do specifically. I forget which one he had, but I know that he was suffering, and basically the doctors had given up on him and told him, and this was in his 20s, when he was diagnosed, and he was able to turn that whole thing around. So I know that God is able, to heal and to also help you, move forward in your life with that, because I know that that puts you at risk when your immune system is compromised with this. So I'll forward that one to you, but it's, I mean, I think it's like an hour and 20 something minutes and stuff, but I really, honestly, like, I really truly believe that there's some things at least that we can do on a small scale to actually help with it, even when the doctors say, no, there's no, no chance or nothing will happen. I just, I've seen miracles happen. I've been a miracle, a witness to miracles happening even in my body, especially by this age. I should, by my family's history, I should already have been diagnosed with heart disease. And my labs, the doctor always is scratching his head. He was like, even just at your weight, your labs should be worse than this. And I was like, no, I incorporated. I said, I listen, I study. I said, I've been intentional about, at least on the nutritional side, adding certain things. I said, I haven't cut out everything I need to cut out, but I've definitely added in regularly the stuff I know I need to add in to prevent certain, illnesses. So, because I have urticaria, and, I haven't had, thankfully, as many flare-ups as I used to have, because I would break out in the hives. The area gets hot. It would look like somebody just welted me. I would have
Yeah.
these things that rise up.
Yep.
Some of them. I mean, I'm talking about the ones that come in the face were really rough, because those would actually open up and become sores. It was
That's what
pretty bad.
mine was just.
Yeah,
That was my boy's pemphigoid.
yeah. I
It was. Yep.
honestly, I
Yep.
haven't had an episode since when I started with the Organifi green juice, because it has all of those supplements and the things that I need, all the vitamins and the minerals, like, because I don't always get enough vegetables. Honestly, I stopped having any of those episodes when I started on that. I put that as my Mother's Day gift request. That's how I first got it, because I'm like, stuff costs $60, but it lasts me for 2 months, so it's kind of like $30 a month. And I just ran out, and I'm just like, oh, why am I starting to itch and carry on again? And I was like, I haven't had any. So I highly recommend, once things get, back to some sense of normalcy, if you can, they have free trials of it. You should maybe possibly try to
What
Organifi
is it
green
called?
juice. It's called Organifi green juice, and they do offer like a week sample. That's how I also got it introduced to my system as well. I was like, whoa, this stuff really works. I didn't realize how bad I felt until I started taking that stuff. Like, it's really, really,
You know
it
what I
hits
really
on all
need?
the notes. It really cleanses you.
I want to be able to go have an iron infusion. I can just feel that my iron is low, and I the last iron infusion I haven't had in almost 2 years, but I already know that my iron is so low that because I can feel, because I don't have the same zeal
Mm-hmm.
and the umph. And I was like, I need to see my because I see a hematologist, because
Gotcha.
all the things that, and I can't even call her. Can't even call Dr.
Wow.
B to get an appointment, because, and then I already know that I would have the opportunity to get in for my infusions. And man, this is just,
You're going to get through this, though. You're not going through it alone. And I'm going to be here to support and help and pass on as much as I possibly can
that's
to
why
help see you through this.
spinach, the sweet potatoes, I needed something high in iron to
Yeah.
feed, to kind of replenish. And if that's what, and it's making sense to me now, that
Mm-hmm.
is it. It is, if I can increase the iron through the food.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm telling you.
and we
Mm-hmm.
had a salad the other day. Sunday,
Yeah.
matter of fact, was after the meeting. I was so excited because I finally got a salad,
Yeah.
and I had cabbage, kale. I didn't do the traditional.
Oh, kale would be awesome for you too.
And do you know, it was like, I was so happy because the very next day I could use the bathroom.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
telling you.
so happy. I was like, because I'm used to having a bowel movement every single day, and for some reason, it slowed up ever since Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what happened? I didn't know what happened to my body. And after I had that salad the next day, I was like, I could just feel the relief in my midsection of the top of half of my stomach.
We're
And it
supposed
felt
to.
so good.
Every day. It's supposed to
Every day.
happen.
I'm used to it every single day.
Yep.
I can go twice a day. And
Yeah.
I can only go once, but it's always at the top of the day.
Yep.
And so yeah.
Which
But
is ideal.
I'm so sorry, because I was like, I got my frustration. Now you start talking about one thing, and then my mind was like, okay.
That's okay. See, that's the benefit of at least the other two weren't able to join us today. So at least you got to have this time, and this is great. I had this time blocked off anyway, so I'm super excited. So what do you want to be held accountable for next week?
I want to be held accountable for actually exercising, getting on the elliptical. I had them bring up the elliptical 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Literally.
How many minutes?
I'm going to start off with 30 minutes.
Okay. How many days? Each day?
Each day. 30 minutes a day.
Okay, that's ideal. And you don't have to do all 30 at the same time. So if you find that you struggle with 30, you can even 20 minutes will be the good minimum. But 30 minutes is the ideal target. That's the ultimate goal. It should be daily. So I'm gonna put there that for the next 7 days, you're gonna do 30 minutes a day. If you got to break it up in 10, 10, and 10, you can, or 20 and 10, you can. And if you don't want it all to be on the elliptical, even if you walk in place, put on some music that you like, you could do that. Or if you have stairs, if you walked up and down a step, whatever it takes, you can mix it up if you need to. If you find yourself getting stuck or bored with the 30 minutes, or either, and you can access. I have some great playlists already pre-made too that are already kind of timed out. So the first 5 songs that you hear on any other playlist I have on those 20-minute lists, that's already 20 minutes. And most of them, they stop at like 33, 35 minutes max. So just so you know, if you ever are bored or don't have enough, music to go around to get you through each day, I got every kind of music that you can think of. I got a created playlist, and I'm still creating more. And I'll share the link because my YouTube channel is called Abundant Health Services. And so I created 20-minute love playlist. So I have it for gospel, old school R&B, original rap, belly dance, reggaeton, salsa, like you name it, rock and roll, rock, like girl power, motivational, like gospel trap music. Like I'm telling you, like I tried to hit every genre that people could possibly listen to or be interested in, reggae, like you name it.
You're going to be at
that's something.
Festival when we go back, and that's going to be my very first visit to the Essence Festival.
I'm praying that I'm just trying to stay faithful, and I just know that God is going to continue to open these doors. That's my dream, Essence Festival. I've always wanted to go there. That is a dream of mine.
This will be
on my vision board.
Yeah. The Essence Festival, that's where we're going. So that'll be my very first visit, and that'll be your very first time being there. So, so I'm planning. Yay. I know it's not going to be this year. So God willing, we'll resume next year when we have a vaccine. So, yeah.
That's right. Will do. All right. So my goal last week was I was accountable for getting back to the 50 ounces in the day. Like I was still meeting my water goals, but I had gotten off track with the morning quantity that I wanted. So this past week I did 6 days out of the 7. So that was great to track and to see it though in the stickers. I was like, okay, this is great.
So the water goals.
So,
The water, is this the water goal?
Yeah, my goal last week. So when I was on the call, because I even also held myself accountable, I shared with you guys my health intention for the week. So for this week, coming up, my health intention will be to incorporate 3 vegetables. Getting back to that, because right now I'm doing like 1 to 2 a day. I want to do 3 vegetables 3 times a week. So 3 and 3.
3
so 3 times a week. I'm gonna, 3 like servings. So basically morning, noon, and night. So for 3 meals, I want to make sure I have veggies at least 3 times next week.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
goal
because
I'm
I
gonna look
do
for.
it daily. Yeah. So that's so you'll hear me mentioning that, so that way I'm always held accountable as well.
Okay, so
That
now
I'm doing this
my
as
alarm goes
well.
off every morning at 5:15. Well, Monday through Friday. Monday, that's why I thought I'll do the 5:30, but I kept pushing the snooze button because I forgot this was my very first one. So now I know. And the funny thing, I said tomorrow I got to be up at 5. But I was like, but my alarm starts going off at 5:15. But I'm changing my thought process because one of the things that I heard by what's her name, Mel Robbins. She was like,
Yeah.
you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, and don't put it.
Ah, that NASA principle. It works. I told you. Yeah, she's awesome. And she's just no like nonsense. I like how honest she is, like about her own story and journey and things. And then, but she gives it to you so raw, and it's so like, and it's scientifically sound too. Like the
Yeah,
things that she talks about. So that's really, really great. That's why I love her. I always recommend people. I was like, look, check her out. I was like, she has a short clip that you can see on it, and she has longer stuff too. But like, yo, that NASA principle actually works. So I'm gonna use that when it comes time to these vegetables. I don't know why, but in the past the struggle has been like every meal. It's been hard for me. But I've committed to I have lettuce. I was like, even if it's just in me repeating the same thing, at least I'll know that I'm getting it, in. So the mornings are usually pretty easy. It's the later parts of the day is where I can kind of fall off with the veggies, but I'm committed. I will get it done this week. I will do that minimum 3 times this week.
wow.
So I'm excited. So do you have any questions for
No,
me?
thank you for being engaging. I'm glad we had the opportunity to engage in some conversation. So no, I am
Yeah.
sweet potatoes, the spinach, so the cinnamon. I seen that as the I love the tidbits that you said in the morning. I'll call them tidbits because it's like little
Nice.
little
Yay.
nuggets.
Yeah.
That I
Mhm.
appreciate because I was like, oh gosh, I don't have any
Yes.
soda. I don't have any what is with the the
Club soda, seltzer water.
I don't have
Yeah,
it.
it's filling. It really works. It will really help. It fills you, and it
Club
helps
soda.
trigger the right. Yeah, because so your body releases a hormone that tells you that you're full, and so club soda helps trigger that.
Really?
Yes, that's what I use. Remember when I told you about that, all that weight I dropped in that week? I had club soda every single day. Yeah. I mean, your body it's a system. Listen, and that's what we would do with an athlete. So like let's say like the athlete that specifically who I was so mad at, I had to have him drop 3 pounds by the end of the school day. Literally. I had to send the coach to the store to get me, and I said, find one that has lime and buy me some limes. But they have a lime infused club soda or seltzer water that is going to increase. Because here's what also when I tell people about the lime juice in the morning. So what happens is your body can burn an extra 17 calories per minute. Why would I not want my body to do that? And that's without me doing anything. That's just to keep me alive, breathing, and doing whatever I do throughout the day. So I had to put him in peak fat burning mode. But not only that, I had to basically make his body trigger the symptoms of he's full, even though he's not full. He couldn't eat any physical food. It was all going to be liquids. But I had to make him get into his fat stores, like to burn off like the fats. And that's 3,500 calories. Like, so in order to do that, I have to put everything, I had to throw the kitchen sink at it, which was that included peppers. Like, that's one trick I can't do for myself because my allergies. Like, but the cayenne pepper, the fresh lemons, limes, the seltzer water, specifically like antioxidant, like things, everything that I know is going to turn off all of the bad stuff and going to turn on and basically have him like burning coal, like really just going extra hard. And
Uh-huh.
that's how because it's basically you're making the body have to cannibalize the fat that it has stored up. You're making it spend it for energy. And so to do that, to do a pound in a day, it's intense, but it's possible. It's very possible. It's just you have to turn on certain hormones to basically to tell your body, okay, we're full, and the club soda is going to do that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the club soda. So
Yes.
a lime, because I made.
You don't need a lot of it.
You don't. So can I use a fresh lime?
No. Oh yeah, actually you'll get even better results with fresh lime. I just know with my schedule it's not always been possible to get like the fresh lime, but yeah, when it comes down to that, like with athletes, if it's a short time, we had to. But if you have fresh lemons or fresh limes, yeah, you just slice it in half, and you could put the other half into the refrigerator and use it the next morning. But all it takes is a half of a lime or a half of the lemon, and you squeeze it into it could be 6 ounces, it could be 8 ounces. Don't go over 8 ounces though, with it
Club
when you
soda?
do this. It's too acidic. No, as far as like the mixture with the lime juice. No, I'm saying with the club soda, or even if it's water, try not to go over
The 8 ounce.
that amount with the club soda. But even if you, let's say for instance, like with this, I have this one, so I poured mine in here, but I poured regular water. So I know I reduced it down, but I did take a few sips of it before I actually poured it all into this, so I could slow slip on it all day. So that way
Okay.
I can keep that satiated feeling. Yeah, it's
Okay, I'm
it's
gonna
a
ask you
nice,
about that
easy little
again.
trick.
Yeah, because I bought a bunch of limes and I bought limes and I bought lemons, but now I
Yeah.
buy more limes than I do lemons. But I'm glad I did because
Yeah.
I made him some
Yeah.
tea with it with turmeric and ginger and something else and burdock.
Yeah, listen, the lime gives the highest. There's no substance that we have on earth that burns more calories than lime. Lemon is second to limes. So that's why you'll see, people like their citrus orient, and then oranges, tangerines, anything along the citrus family, they're pretty high as far as like the extra calorie burn once you consume them.
I tried to change my craving for sugar with changing it with a tangerine or orange. So I bought more of those. We bought a lot of fruits on this past weekend, just because we're in the house, and I'm like I'm tired of I'm not a cracker person, but he made berry, blueberries, strawberries last night, and pineapple, and that was it. And that's what we did our snack on, opposed to the baked cookies that we usually do.
Yeah, the blueberries are ideal. If you can have those a couple of times a day, that would be
Okay.
ideal. Okay.
Wonderful. Awesome.
All
All
right.
right, Miss Lady.
Yay.
I thank you so
Thank
very much.
you.
So
My pleasure.
I'll be ready next week.
Yay. I'm super excited. Let me know when you receive your kit.
I will let you know. I probably should get it today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna look for your tracking ticket too, so I can send that to you.
Okay, awesome.
Alrighty. Thanks.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye bye.
You're welcome. Bye bye.